Okay, so the Warriors are going back to the West Finals. The one thing I'll say about this game was when they committed to the Steph Draymond pick and roll in the fourth quarter, it seemed like the Warriors or the Grizzlies couldn't do much. Whether it was Steph getting a pull up with Steven Adams, doing his best playing high up on the screen, but it's Steph Curry, of course. The one where Steph eventually ended up in the corner off of the screen, or I guess on the wing, and Jaren Jackson committed to him. Kevon Looney's open, and then that led to, I think it was a pass to Draymond. And then you get your more just flow of the game plays, like the Warriors getting 3 or 4 offensive rebounds in one play. Eventually ends up to Clay, and that's just the stuff the Warriors have been killing teams with for years, right? So for the Grizzlies, I mean, listen, they fought like hell, man. And Desmond Bane and Dillon Brooks, it seemed like they were going to difficult shot their way into, dragging this thing down to the very end in this one. Memphis exceeded my expectations. I would imagine most people did not predict them to be the 2 seed, especially if you told them that Ja would miss however many games he missed, and through depth, defense, offensive rebounds. I mean, that Valanciunas for Steven Adams trade, remember when that happened and it was like, ooh, I don't know, Valanciunas was really awesome for them? No, move was totally the right thing for him. Made him better defensively, the screen setting, the offensive rebounding, all that from Adams for them. Also, they got more out of his passing than anybody else has in his career. Adams is on a 1-year deal next season. He's making $18 million. My guess is if you were going to extend him, you would want to extend him for less than that per season. Dillon Brooks is also on a 1-year deal, and I mean he's an up and down guy. One game he's making these tough shots, he's making step backs. Next game he isn't, and it's frustrating. The defense and the energy, that's always there. I think both of them will be on the team next year, though. Of course, they can tell themselves that if Ja Morant doesn't get hurt, they win the series, and maybe they're right. I don't know, but in terms of roster moves, you've got little decisions. You've got Tyus Jones' contract. You've got Kyle Anderson's deal. They've already declined Jarrett Culver's deal, so that frees them up about $8 million. They're going to max Ja this offseason. And I start looking at internal improvement mainly. I mean, Desmond Bane, nobody thought he was going to average 18 points a game this year, I'm pretty sure. Are they going to be able to lean on him even more as a ball handler next season? We'll see there. You look at Jaren Jackson next, and his three-pointer was up and down between the regular season where his percentage ended up not being too good. In these playoffs, there were games where he couldn't hit anything, other games where he looked like Reggie Miller. To me, the bigger thing with Jaren, well, let me just throw some numbers at you. So in the playoffs, on shots in the paint but not right at the rim, he shot 28%. And in the regular season, in that same area, he shot 38%. There will be times where he's on the left or right wing and he's sizing up his defender, and at times he's able to put his shoulder into a guy, get a hook shot out of it, maybe bust out a spin move or whatever, and get himself a good look at the rim. But then there's other times where he's missing those shots, or he's just not as nimble or crafty or whatever term you want to use to get off those shots exactly how you'd want him to. But then there's other times where he'll catch it from the three-point line. He's got a bit of daylight, takes 2 dribbles in, makes a floater, or kicks it to the guy in the corner. So he shows the signs. The potential's definitely there. And of course, the guy had an injury that left him out for a long time. So it's understandable that not everything is clicking perfectly on offense. Defensively, yeah, sometimes the fouls get rough, but they were a top 5 defense in the regular season for a reason. As far as Ja, the easy thing to say is free throw shooting and then just shooting overall. If he developed like a really reliable in-between game, pull-up jumpers, floaters, he's got a good floater, but I think there's another level to get to there, then at that point he really could be impossible to guard. We did see some things when they were playing the Wolves, and the Wolves had that trapping scheme, right? And so the idea there as well, do you incorporate more off-ball actions for Ja? I think it's an idea, not that they've never done that. I just went back and looked at a play from Game 5 against the Wolves where Tyus Jones throws it to Brandon Clark, and then he throws it to Ja, who's still running up court, and then sets him a screen. So they've already done a little bit of those things, but maybe there's another level to get to occasionally with Ja, those sorts of actions. And besides those guys, looking at the roster, I mean, Zaire Williams has potential. Brandon Clark, to me, is kind of a finished product, but that's fine because his screen setting, his offensive rebounding, the floaters. He may only average 10 points a game, but he just helps them win. There's no doubt. Even if I would really love if he had a reliable corner 3. And also, I know I mentioned Tyus Jones' contract real quick in the beginning. I just want to mention him again. Tyus Jones is a good player. Very fundamentally sound. Love the guy. They've also got 2 draft picks this offseason, so we'll see there. One thing with having a lot of depth is that if you add a couple more rookies, suddenly it's like, well, do we even have minutes for these guys? Could there be some sort of a move made? Like, what type of player could these guys use? I mean, everything that I say, I think some of their guys are on the path to being. You could say, well, they need a second 20-point scorer next to Ja. Well, between Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson and their roadmaps on offense, I mean, Desmond Bane, the jump he made in year 2 was nuts. So that's all I got. They'll be back, and they're going to be here for a long time, man.